everyone, it is Chrissy at Pinovate. This tutorial is for our DIY yarn rainbow. It is so cute and bright and colorful and fun to make. So grab your kit and we'll go through it together. All right, so in your kit, you're going to get 5 different lengths of cotton rope, 5 different lengths of wire for the backing, 8 different colors of yarn, so you actually get to customize your rainbow however you like, as well as a little darning needle. The only other things that you're going to need would be some scissors, some masking tape, a Sharpie or a pen, as well as a hot glue gun. So grab all of your supplies and we'll get going. So the first step of creating our rainbow is to prep our rope. So I have my 5 strands and I'm just placing them in order from the longest to the shortest. Okay, now your rope, it might have 2 cords in it like this, or it might have 3. It doesn't matter, it's beautiful either way. So I have all of my cords here. They're all in the length of the longest to the shortest. And now I'm just going to curve them into an arch to create my rainbow. Okay, and I want them roughly the same length on either side. They can always be trimmed afterwards. Okay, so I have my arch. And I'm happy with that, that looks good. All right, so now I wanna mark off where my rainbow, my colors are going to start and stop. So I'm going to use some masking tape. I'm gonna leave about 3 inches on the bottom here. And I know I'm gonna start right about here, roughly. Okay, so I still have enough dangling on the bottom to create my clouds. And I'm going to match it up on this side as well. Right there. Okay, so I know that this is going to be my rainbow and these are going to be my clouds. So with this, you can actually either take each individual rope and wrap masking tape around each one so you know where to start and stop, or to make it nice and easy, you can take a Sharpie or a pen. Now I'm just going to make a line right across so I know that these are going to end up nice and even. And now I have prepped my rope for my rainbow. So I've taken off the masking tape and I still have my marks on there so I know where I'm starting and stopping. Now I need to match up my wire to all of the corresponding cords. So my longest wire is going to go with my longest cord together. And then my next size wire is gonna go with the next one. They each have their own length of wire to correspond. So then my next longest one is gonna go with the middle. Almost done. And then my last one goes with my itty bitty one. Okay, so I have them all matched up. And I need to assemble this wire to my rope so that it's going to hold the shape and the arch of the rainbow. Okay, so I am going to assemble my wire onto my rope. So I have my 2 marks here where the end of my rainbow is going to be. And I'm going to center my wire in between that. And I'm just going to hot glue it on. So starting in the center, I'm going to add a little bit of glue to my rope. And place that wire again. So center my rope to the center of the wire. And we want to make sure that that cools and adheres to my rope before we start bending it. So I'm just going to go all the way along and glue that down. Okay, so I have hot glued my wire onto my rope and let it cool, and I'm going to do this for all 5 of my ropes. So I have hot glued all of my wires onto all 5 of my ropes. And now we're gonna create the arch again before we start wrapping with yarn. So I have centered all of my wires and ropes together. So again, they're longest to shortest. And now we want to create that arch, so we're going to bend all of those wires together into our rainbow shape. Okay, so with a little maneuvering and some gentle love, I have bent my wires on my ropes back into the shape of my rainbow. And again, I still have my marks on each of my rope where I know that I'm going to start and stop when I'm wrapping my yarn. And they, again, should all line up. So the next step is to pick out your 5 colors of yarn. So out of the 8 colors that are in the kit, these are the 5 that I'm gonna go with. So I'm gonna start with my pink. This is gonna be my largest, and then work down to my smallest. So starting with my pink, and the largest section of my rainbow, I need to attach it to my rope. So what I'm going to do is find that little line where we started. So I have it on there. And I'm going to tie it right at that spot. All right, so I'm tying it at my pen mark. Okay. Now this tail is going to just get put right up into my rainbow, my arch, as I'm wrapping. So now all I want to do is just continually wrap this rope the whole way around. I'm trying to keep my wire to the back as best as possible, so just keep that in mind when you're wrapping. Okay, so nice and tight, make sure it's nice and secure. If you need to put multiple wraps around one area, feel free to do so. We want to make sure that there's no rope or wire showing through. So I've completely wrapped my first arch of my rainbow, and I have wrapped it nice and tightly. I don't see any rope poking through on the front or on the back. Make sure that it is fully covered. And I've wrapped it all the way down to my next mark on my rope here. So I need to finish this off. In order to do that, we're gonna use our darning needle, and we're going to sew it actually back up into our rainbow. So I'm going to leave a long tail, and I'm going to thread my yarn into my darning needle. So a trick for this is to actually take your needle, put your yarn on top, and pull it off. So yarn on top, pull it off, and then that's going to create a nice little bump that's going to go through the eye of your needle rather than fraying the end of the yarn and struggling with that. So I've thread my darning needle, and now I'm just going to create a knot by sliding it through my bottom loop, making it nice and tight. There's my loop, making a knot. Okay, and then once that's tied off, I'm actually just going to slide my darning needle up into my rainbow and hide the tail on the inside. So okay, so my yarn's coming up through, and now I'm just going to trim that off. And my first arch is all done. So now I'm going to do all of my other arches with the colors that I have chosen in the exact same fashion. All right, so I have all of my arches all wrapped. They are nice and tight. There's no rope showing through on the front or the back. I started and I stopped at my mark that I did at the very beginning, so I know that this should all match up nicely. If you're struggling, if some of your wire is a little bit shorter than your mark on your rope, just like here, this my little one here, what I did was I just wrapped a little bit of extra yarn right around where it connects there, just to give it some stability. All right, so once all of your arches are wrapped, we are ready to assemble it. So what I like to do is I'm going to take my whole rainbow and flip it over to the back. So whichever side you were darning your knots at the ends, that is going to be your back side. So if you prefer to sew, you can absolutely go in and sew all of these pieces together. However, I'm going to hot glue them all just so you can see the finished product nice and quick. Now, I know that I have marked my ends from the beginning, so all of my ends are going to meet up. So I'm gonna start by hot gluing all of my ends together, and then I'm gonna work on the center afterwards. So with my glue gun, I'm going to start by hot gluing all of my little ends together so they start and stop in the same spot. So I have glued all the bottoms of my rainbow together so they are all lining up. Now I can go ahead and I can start gluing all of the upper portion of my rainbow together as well. So when I am gluing, I'm only trying to get the glue along the back side. I do not want it to ooze through so you see it on the front. So we just want the back sides touching together. Okay, so I have hot glued all of my arches of my rainbow together, and I'm still working on my back side here. So I want to actually add a hanger to the back. I'm going to take an extra piece of yarn, whatever color you like, and we're gonna just make a little hanger to secure while we're working on the back side. So to do that, I'm going to take the center of my piece of yarn, and I'm going to tie a knot with this little loop about the size of my finger. Just like that. Now I'm going to hot glue this onto the back. I would like to have it below the top of my rainbow so it doesn't peek out. So it actually is a hidden hanger when you put it on your wall. So I'm just going to place it in the center there, hot glue it right on. Let that cool, and I'm just gonna trim the edges, the tails off. And you have a little hanger. Once the back of your rainbow is dry and cooled down from the hot glue, we're gonna flip it back over and we're gonna finish off our tassels on the bottom here. So all of your masking tape is on there to prevent your ropes from fraying. So now we actually get to take all of this masking tape off. So I've taken all of the masking tape off of the ends of my ropes. Now what I'm going to do is just very gently unravel them. So your ropes may have 2 cords in it, or it might have 3. It doesn't matter, they both look fantastic. I'm just going to gently unravel each one of these, and these are gonna create the clouds. Okay, so I have unraveled all of my rope and it has a really nice little kind of curl to it, which makes it look similar to a cloud. Now, these clouds are too dangly for me. I'm going to trim them a little bit shorter so they look a little bit more like a cloud rather than rain coming down. So, just with my scissors, I'm gonna kind of decide where I wanna go. I think I'll trim off about this much on both sides. So I've just trimmed off the rope for my clouds and I love how it looks. It's nice and bright and sunshiny and perfect for summer. I hope you had so much fun making this yarn rainbow with me. It is so bright and cute and colorful and perfect for summertime. We would love to see how they turn out, so please tag us on Instagram at Pinovate and DIY Delivery. We love seeing all of your creations. And follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, all of those things. So thanks so much for following along and we'll see you again soon. Bye.